On the dot here, Virginia polling sites opened up just over an hour ago for those wishing to cast their ballot this election day. Of course, we've been following the tight race for the governor's seat, but the impact of who wins reaches well beyond the state. This is a live look here at Fairfax, Virginia, where one of the polling sites is. Our Melanie Alnick has told us it has been busy already this morning. Joining us now is Virginia Democrats Chairwoman Susan Swecker and RNC National Spokesperson Paris Dennard. Good morning to both of you. Thank you for joining me.
Good morning.
Good morning. Happy to be here.
Likewise. Susan, I want to start with you because I know you mentioned in a previous interview that you have a little bit of anxiety going into Election Day. So I'll ask both of you this question. But Susan, how are you feeling this morning given some of the polls that we've seen?
Well, look, I always love Election Day. I mean, that is just, the ultimate in our democracy here. And look, polls, I don't pay attention to polls. I haven't since 2016 and that election night. What I can tell you is that I have been all across the Commonwealth with Terry McAuliffe and the ticket these last weeks. And what I am seeing is a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of energy. Almost 1.2 million people early voted this year. Incredible, and big numbers up in Northern Virginia. So I'm, of course, who doesn't have anxiety, but we're laser focused on getting us across the finish line.
Yeah, it's a tight race. At last check with Insider Advantage's poll, we saw that Youngkin was 2 points ahead of McAuliffe. So Paris, I'll ask you the same question. How you feeling this morning?
Well, we don't have anxiety. We have excitement. We have momentum. And if I were Susan, I would have anxiety, too, with the polls that show that Terry McAuliffe is tanking and not doing well. That's why he canceled his Virginia Beach rally last night, because he saw that the momentum, the tide is shifting, going towards Glenn Youngkin, who is a person who is uniting all Virginians. He's a person who's inspiring Virginians and has real common sense, conservative principles that are going to empower all, getting rid of the grocery tax, being strong on public safety, supporting parents' rights to have access to their children's education. On the economy, education, public safety, he's a candidate for Virginians. That's why you've seen such tremendous turnout and support, not only in the polls, but also in the early voting that we're closing. And we're looking right today, every Republican, independent, and Democrat who looks at this race and says, you know what, Terry McAuliffe is out of touch, out of step. We need Glenn Youngkin. Vote today.
Susan, I do want to ask you a quick question. It was a quote from Terry McAuliffe that his camp has said was taken out of context when he says, I don't think parents should be telling schools what they should teach. Since then, Youngkin's campaign has really taken that and run with it. Do you think that is, of all the things maybe harming him or affecting him the most? What would you say?
I think this is something that is the Paris and the RNC and the Youngkin campaign have dreamed up to try to continue to make us divide and go against each other. Of course, Terry McAuliffe supports parents. He's a parent of 5 kids. Terry McAuliffe had invested in education when he was governor before, and he has a plan to put $2 billion in education and lift up teachers. Yes, it was taken out of context. That is what they do because they have nothing else to run on. Glenn Youngkin came out of the box saying, I want to, the first thing I'm going to do is have an election integrity task force, sounding very much like Donald Trump. That is exactly the kinds of things that we keep hearing. Donald Trump endorsed Glenn Youngkin yet again 7 times. And Glenn Youngkin said, that is so much of the reason why I'm running. Now, Terry McAuliffe has 20 plans, and he has a plan to keep Virginia moving forward, or we can go backwards with Glenn Youngkin.
Now, Paris, Susan brought up Donald Trump. He's been brought up a whole lot by Terry McAuliffe during the campaign and the attack ads that we've seen. I want to ask you about Youngkin's strategy here. He's kept Trump voters close, but Trump himself at a distance. Do you think that's a good idea? And do you think that's a playbook that other GOP candidates will adopt across the country?
Well, this race is not about Donald Trump. This race is not about the national party. This race is about the people of Virginia. And the Terry McAuliffe campaign wants to make this race about everyone else except for the people. And going back to something Susan said, she said this is some type of a dream that we've come up with the Republicans about parents. No, parents are not dreaming about what Terry McAuliffe said. The reason why you see the people at the school boards, the reason why you see them coming out of the woodwork for these rallies is because they are upset about CRT, the indoctrination of our children that's happening in Virginia, and Terry McAuliffe is a part of the problem. When it comes to President Trump, look, he was a person who put America first. He had an America first agenda. this is what Glenn Youngkin is doing. He has an agenda that is putting the people first, that is putting people of Virginia first. That's why Democrats and Republicans are coming together and saying Glenn Youngkin has a plan. And when you talk about education, let's have Susan talk about Governor Wilder just wholly eviscerating the Democrat Party and Terry McAuliffe for their lack of support for HBCUs. That's why he's come out in strong support of Glenn Youngkin for his support of HBCUs in his budget every year.
Paris, they're wrapping me here.
Did not do.
Susan, I know you'll want to respond to that. Paris, they're wrapping me here.
Well,
I'm a little
there's
over
so
time.
much here, but I want to say one thing.
Really quickly, Susan.
On January 6th, if Glenn Youngkin had been governor, would he dispatch the Virginia National Guard to protect our Capitol, or would he been in line with Donald Trump? People need to know these kinds of things.
This race is not about anything but the people of Virginia. Focus on the people. Vote Glenn Youngkin.
Thank you for the lively discussion. I know there's a lot to talk about today.
Susan.
I'm sure there'll be even more to talk about tomorrow. Virginia Democrats Chairwoman Susan Swecker and RNC National Spokesperson Paris Dennard. Appreciate you both coming on. Thank you.
Thank you.